Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today my question for you is, which of the big three Doctor Who villains is your favorite, and how would you rank them? Of course, the big three in Doctor Who for bad guys, for me at least, and I think most of you would agree, would be the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Master. All of which are great, all of which have had good stories, all of which have had not so good stories, all of which have had bad stories. So there's a huge ground to cover. None of them have like a perfect track record because the villains have been back so many times. But do you have a favorite between the three? Now for me, it's very easy for me to say the Daleks. I love the Daleks. They're my favorite villains in all of Doctor Who. There are others that I like, of course, but I just love the Daleks. They're just a perfect storm of everything coming together. Well, I love the design of the Daleks. I love the voice of the Daleks. I love the lore of the Daleks. Just everything for the Daleks makes them the perfect villain. The perfect villain. And of course, the allegory for what they represent is very easy to see in how they're executed on screen, especially when they're at their best, especially in Genesis of the Daleks. The parallels are so obvious. But they're so iconic. The look of them, the sound of them with that screeching metallic voice with no emotion is done so well. Now, again, they've had ups and downs. They've had good stories. They've had bad stories. I'm not a huge fan of the Daleks itself, that 7-part story. I prefer the colorized version. But again, I've never watched the Daleks one episode a week like it was originally intended to watch either. But trying to power through all 7 episodes at once is a bit of a chore. I really enjoy Dalek Invasion of Earth. Great location work, good story. I don't really care for the chase, good bookending episodes. Dalek Master Plan is too long. And with most of it being missing, certainly doesn't help it, but it's still too long. Love Power of the Daleks. Love Evil of the Daleks. Love Day of the Daleks. Not as big of a fan of Planet of the Daleks, but, you know, it's not the worst. And then I enjoy Death to the Daleks. I don't necessarily love Death to the Daleks, but I enjoy Death to the Daleks. It's a good Dalek story. I love Genesis of the Daleks. I really enjoy Destiny of the Daleks. It's actually a very watchable story. Very, very watchable and enjoyable. Love Resurrection, love Revelation, love Remembrance. Great stories. And even in the modern series, I feel like the Daleks have been done well. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Like Dalek, for example, their first story in the modern show is one of the best Dalek stories. It's very good. And it's a reminder, one, how deadly one Dalek can be. The episode does a very good job through the dialogue and through the actions the Dalek takes of showing you just how much of a threat a single Dalek can be. And it also does a good job, too, of showing that why episodes with just one or very few Daleks can work better. Because when you have a whole army of them, you have to kind of Deus Ex Machina your ending. You have to come up with some way that you're stopping this whole army, which gets a little tropey. But when you've only got one or two, and you may build them up to be such a threat when there's just one or two, it makes it better, more suspenseful, and also the fact they managed to stop just a Dalek or two, a little more believable. The Series 1 finale was good, enjoyable. Part 1 is a little dated because of all the pop culture references, but enjoyable. The ending of Series 2 is very enjoyable. The ending of the Dalek 2-parter in Series 3 is enjoyable. The Journey's End 2-parter is enjoyable. Victory of the Daleks is very good. I don't really think they're fully in Series 6 much. They just kind of cameo in a little bit. Asylum of the Daleks is flawed but enjoyable. I'm not a big fan of Into the Dalek, but it's watchable. The Dalek 2-parter that opens Series 9 I don't think is that good. It has moments, but it also has cop-out moments. But I won't even say enjoyable. It's not great, but I can get through it. I don't think Series 10 had a Dalek story, really. Series 11 well, after Series 11, you basically had the Jodie Whittaker specials, which had the Daleks, which are all enjoyable. I liked all of them. Resolution, again, much like Dalek, does a good job of showing you how dangerous one Dalek can be. And I like the way this Dalek can puppeteer people. Big kudos to the actress playing her. And then I thought Revolution of the Daleks and Eve of the Daleks were very enjoyable. Nice Doctor Who stories. Is that the last time we've had the Daleks? I don't think we've had the Daleks since Eve of the Daleks, have we? Well, I guess you had the Liberation of the Daleks comic, which I liked. It was a nice little comic. But yeah, for me, it's definitely the Daleks. And then second would be the Master, and third would be the Cybermen. The Master, of course, it just depends on which incarnation of the Master you're talking about. I love Delgado. Sometimes let's be honest, sometimes his plans don't work. A lot of Delgado's story has a plan to either assume some kind of power or manipulate some being that has some kind of power, and it usually blows up into his face. That does kind of happen a lot, but Delgado's performance and his charisma kind of carry it. I think Anthony Ainley is very enjoyable, especially when I think he can play the role a little more serious, like in Survival or Legopolis, and when he's not having to be quite as camp with it. I like Eric Roberts as the Master. I think he has some more nuance in there that people give him credit for. I love Derek as the Master. I wish we'd gotten more of him as the Master in the show proper. He's so good. I don't really care for John Sims as the Master, although every time he is the Master, it's really kind of a different performance. And the way he plays the Master in Series 10, I think is actually really good. It's the other two performances I'm kind of, Sacha Dhawan is okay, and Michelle Gomez is amazing. I love Michelle Gomez in the role. She's fantastic. I would love to get Michelle Gomez back for more Doctor Who. And so there's definitely the good stories and the bad stories with the Master as well, where some of them work, some of them don't. The Cybermen come in last because I feel like the Cybermen peaked in their first decade. I think the best Cyberman stories are the 60s. I think it's the best decade for them. It's not to say they haven't had good stories since. They have. I just feel like the idea of the Cybermen, the fear behind the Cybermen, which is ever present even today, especially with technology, but especially for back then. But you had so many good stories then. 10th Planet, Moonbase. Wasn't there another one in season 4? Well, 10th Planet and Moonbase. Tomb of the Cyberman, Wheel in Space, The Invasion. These are all good stories to one degree or another. They're all very enjoyable. Now, for me, this continued. I like Revenge of the Cybermen a lot. It has... Excuse me. It certainly has a flaw or two, a plot hole or two for sure, but it's still very enjoyable. I like Earthshock. I like Attack of the Cybermen a lot. Attack of the Cybermen doesn't get enough love. And even Silver Nemesis is enjoyable. I don't think 60s Doctor Who, I don't think classic Doctor Who has a bad Cyberman story. I think they're utilized pretty well to one degree or another in all of them, but I still think they peaked in the 60s. Modern Who is more of a mixed bag, because sometimes they're either more like robots, or they're just a generic army that can be anyone, or else they're made subservient to the Master for whatever reason. I thought their initial return was good in the Age of Steel 2-parter, especially with them being an alternate universe origin for the Cybermen. It explains the different designs. I like that 2-parter a lot. I like them in the Series 2 finale, especially the bait and switch with them and the Daleks. I enjoy that. The next Doctor's a bit of a mixed bag. I like some things about it. Some things I don't like about it, especially that over-the-top ending. But it does some stuff I like. Closing Time, again, a mixed bag of a story. Has some good things I like, some bad things I don't. I'm trying to remember all the Cybermen stories now. Nightmare in Silver is okay. It's okay. It's not great. It's not one I go back and rewatch a lot, but it's watchable. It's better than it gets credit for. I figure the Cybermen designs are all right. but they do feel a little more robotic there with their constant upgrading, kind of like the Borg adapting, I guess. And the Cybermen and the Borg have a lot in common, although the Borg look cooler. And then we got them in the Whitaker era, where I like the Lone Cyberman, and I like the Haunting of Villa Diodati, and I think that's a really neat idea. I also like the redesign of the Cybermen for it. But Ascension of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children, they're just kind of wasted. Just like they are in a lot of the Capaldi era, when they're kind of made subservient to Missy. I just don't get into that. Yeah, I feel like they haven't been utilized well in the last decade, especially, where they just haven't had a lot done with them, other than the Lone Cyberman, which I think was a cool idea that they kind of pissed away. So I think that's the main reason the Cybermen come in third, is I just feel like they've gotten progressively weaker since they've been around. I think their best decade is their original decade, and I still think they were good in the 70s and 80s. Again, no bad classic Cybermen stories. Even if Silver Nemesis is arguably the weakest of classic good. But the modern series struggles to get them right, so I feel like they've just been kind of on a steady. Whereas I think with the Daleks and the Master, it's not quite like that. They kind of do that. So for me, the Daleks, then the Master, then the Cybermen. I want to know what you think, and which one of the big three is your favorite Doctor Who villain. Comment down below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. I also have a Patreon if you'd like to support me on that. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. I love getting fan mail. I also have a link to the Amazon wishlist and the UK wishlist down there as well. Check those out. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons: Colin Coney, Sam Venning, Finn Perkins, Unknown289, and Androzani Major. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. Most importantly, thank you for watching.